I would like, if I may, to read on a phrase. Once upon a time, there was a little girl.
The accident was over a year ago. A second woman has been elected president. A 12th planet has been named in the solar system. The last wild polar bear has died. I slept through it all. I was here for my waking. He called it a beginning. He said it was good. I think you may have thought that anything I did was good.
Welcome to Transition Radio. I'm your host, MarkAngelo Cummings.
Hello, everyone. MarkAngelo here. That is an old intro that I actually created back in the day when I had my original show called Transition Radio, and then became Transition Radio TV. Show that was created to showcase back in the day the lives of transgender individuals and everyone in the LGBT community, the allies, the doctors. I also showcase a lot of different things from health segments and you name it. And that's where it all began. Hey, Jenna. And hello, Scott, brother. Thank you for joining me. So I wanted to incorporate that intro because that intro has a lot to say. A lot. And it really, back in the day when I created it, it was like 2012, things weren't as they are today. I mean, I think we've gone through a massive quickening and we're seeing things changing as we speak. So, you know, I want to take this segment not only to touch upon my new thoughts on what I feel this whole trans agenda has God, what has become, you know, the things that it's actually doing to children, to women, you know, all of that stuff. And I'm going to like kind of take it away from Real Talk with the Cummings so that I don't, you know, I don't want to like cause any harm or any distress to Lena. And although she is against, you know, the transitioning of children and all that stuff as well, and she's very pro women and bless her heart, she you know, she's not at all like most trans individuals out there. And I feel very blessed because of that. But I think there's so much more that Lena and I could really touch upon without having to have the trans corner. So I'm removing the trans corner from Real Talk with the Cummings and bringing it back to Transition Radio's healing segment, where there's going to be an incorporation of many different things. You know, it's going to be a revamp of Transition Radio, but with the way I feel and think now about the whole topic, and we'll be including ways to empower and heal everyone under the sun. So, because, you know, it's all about humanness, right? People and what we think and things of that nature. So, one of the things that I wanted to touch upon today is what I truly believe that we as humans are doing to ourselves to bring forth cancer, diabetes, heart problems, strokes. You know, I think we are all responsible for our health. I know we like to point our fingers at things, at people, you know. Yes, stress will really make you sick, but how you handle stress is what's important. We can't get rid of stress. We live in a very stressful world, right? We live in a world that's full of toxins and chemicals. You don't even have to be a trans person and inject yourself or take pills to be affected by hormones. You have to be very mindful what you're putting inside your mouth, you know, and there's hormones everywhere. There's hormones in the deodorant and the lotions that you put on. So you've got to be mindful and read your ingredients and try to buy things that are organic and pure in nature, or create your own stuff. There's so many ways of making your own soaps, your own toothpaste, your own shampoo, you know, that you're going to really do yourself justice by not having to go out there and buy the stuff that is full of chemicals. So let's see. Scott says, I just want people to be aware of the power of love and power we possess. And we do, Scott. We have such an ability inside of us. We are love. The energy that moves us is love. But what people need to understand is, what does love mean? Because we throw that word around like it was candy, you know, or whatever, just throw it around. And most people, they love their inanimate objects. Some people love their iPhones. Some people love their computers. Some people love their cars. You can't really feel that kind of love for that. That's distorted love. You know, that's the kind of love that the God from this universe or this planet that wants us all to have. And instead of loving self unconditionally and loving each other unconditionally, love meaning coexisting, creating that beautiful dance that everything in this planet needs to learn how to create. You know, it's a loving flow of energy and knowing how to respect one another and understand one another and all that great stuff. And Gemma says, yes, love quickening, truth being revealed on many levels. It is. It is just like massively crazy being revealed. And what saddens me, though, that there's still people out there that don't see it. It's almost like their veils haven't been removed. So our job, your job out there is to help gently remove those veils from the individuals that are still dead asleep. And Scott says you can't even control whether or not these things even affect us. Yes, we can. You can control everything, you know, within you and within your environment. Why is this thing? It's okay. It's a matter of becoming aware, as I was saying yesterday. You know, when you become aware of who you are, number one. Number two, become aware of how you, as an energy source, can coexist with the other energy sources, and how you either rub somebody the wrong way or how you could actually bring them favor, you know, make their lives better. And that's what we as light beings need to learn to start doing. It's really learning to turn our healing abilities on. First, we have to turn that healing ability on ourselves, because you've got to heal yourself first before you can be an effective and efficient healer. And Jenna says, yes, perfect for me right now. As you speak, I'm detoxing no meat for more than 2 weeks and dealing with sugar and diet and blood. Awesome, Gemma. Detox is a beautiful thing. We often tend to look at the negative because we are having food cravings or having a detox effect, which means your body's just trying to get rid of all that stuff that's been hidden in layers inside of you from the years of eating all that bad stuff. So, you know, be gentle with yourself, you know, manifest beautiful and wonderful things taking place. Visualize as your body is cleansing itself. Actually visualize the stuff just coming out of you by the drones, you know, and creating a new you. And that is very possible to create with visualization, because as part of the absolute of mother and father that we are capable of healing and creating anything that we want to create. And Scott says, very aware, awake, many stories to share. I don't know how, though. Well, Scott, you could always either call on the show. I don't have my phone. My phone is actually in charge right now. But, you know, when I do this in the mornings, if you ever want to call in, And we could have discussions here on the healing segment as well, or you could do it during our evening show on Real Talk with the Cummings, and you could share your story. You know, we'd be more than happy to have you on. Detoxing is important, Scott. It's so important. People don't realize, because all we do is infest ourselves. That's the proper word I could use. We infest ourselves with all these toxins, whether it's chemical, emotional, physical, you name it. It's spiritual toxins that we're constantly being bombarded with. You know, I find that those that claim to be Christians, you know, there's a lot of those individuals that claim Christianity. They're the most toxic people I've known. They don't know how to coexist with others. They're bullies. They want to bully their way through everything. You know, and they come on our channel, they send us toxic emails, and it's like, gosh, is that what you're trying to do? Promote all this hatred? Is that the kind of God that you represent? And of course, we know that answer. We know that they follow the God of this world, which is Satan. And Jim says, shutting up at times when needed as well, an issue to take personal control of. Yes, one needs to know how to measure one's word, how to really have a self-talk, if you will. You know, we need to learn how to have conversations with ourselves and higher self, which is, in my opinion, is very much connected to the absolute mother, father. And it's almost like, you know, our pathway to divinity, right? Because we descended down here to learn the things that we needed to learn so we could ascend back to Father and Mother again, but with much more wisdom and cleansed, I like to think. So Scott says we consume, period. We need to share. Yes, that is very true. We've been taught from the moment we're little that everything's mine. You know, I watch a bunch of little kids playing and everything is theirs, and God forbid you're to take a toy and share with another kid. They start crying and having a temper tantrum. You know, we need to stop consuming and buying and actually providing the gifts that we have within ourselves. And these gifts are not material gifts. These gifts are spiritual. They're emotional gifts. They're support, things of that nature. We need to start doing more of that. That's awesome that you feel better already, Gemma. How long have you said 2 weeks? Yeah. Wait till you're at this for like 90 days. That's when things really start kicking in, because there's a lot of, from the years of eating bad foods, from the years of thinking negative thoughts, we create this, I don't know, some sort of like internal gook that hides deep within the cells, within the intestines, and it creates layers and layers and layers. So you have to remove layers at a time. But you know, I'm glad you're feeling better already. You know, that's amazing. Wait, like I said, it'll only get better, Gemma. It will definitely get much better as your body cleanses and cleans itself out from all the negativity and all the toxins that have been placed in there. It's quite the journey. It's a beautiful journey, though, because you really will get to know who you really are. Because once those layers of toxins have been removed, then you're faced completely with who you really are. There's nothing there to hide anymore. You know, we use food, we use drugs, we use alcohol, we use behaviors to hide the pain that we have inside. And once you start removing all that stuff, you know, you're no longer putting it in and you're like detoxing it out, boy, you become naked, totally naked. And that's when you really get to know who you are. You know, but that's a wonderful thing, because it's like getting to know you, you know, getting to really know who you are. That's just a beautiful thing altogether. So I heard that Venezuela had a meteor crash of sorts. A few weeks ago, my island of Cuba had a meteor. So I'm kind of wondering what's going on here. What's the whole ordeal here? What's actually taking place? And Scott says, help your vibration. Been at it for about 1.5 years. Yes, we are vibrational beings. We run out of energy. We're like a battery, and that's why these archons use us as such. But when you learn how to tune your vibration to be at the highest level, you not only create massive healing for yourself, but you're also creating healing for the planet and for everyone in it. And that's very important because we need to connect. We need to heal one another. You know, we need to rise above all of this stuff. This thing is driving me nuts here. I'm trying to fix it, and it feels funny. I've always had this. I hate clothes. I'm not, you know, if we were allowed to run naked, I would probably be doing that, and especially if it's not cold. I don't like articles of clothing that feel tight, and that's part of my neurological impairment, I guess you would say. From the time I was little, clothing, anything that felt kind of weird, you know, and we're seeing a lot of that this day and age. You know, I have to pinpoint it to a medication my mom took to try to get pregnant or to not have miscarriages. And I think that kind of messes up with their nervous system. But we have a lot of those neurotoxins out in the world this day and age. You know, we really seeing a lot of so-called diseases and disorders. You know, the medical system, they love to label things, but your nervous system is very crucial for your development, for your emotional development, or how you integrate in the world, how you react to the world, how you navigate the world. So when your nervous system has been compromised, everything else gets compromised along with it. Your endocrine system and neurological system are two systems that are very important for your personality, for how you handle the world, for how you see the world. And let's see here. Scott says, time closed. That's what's going on. Yep, time's closing. Everything is kind of like becoming tighter. You know how you, in computer terms, when you compress a file, you know, so that you're able to download it faster. Well, that's what's happening. Everything's becoming compressed, Scott. And let's see here. Jeremy says, 90 and 90, LOL, treating like an addiction to be killed, a demon of the ego for me. Yeah, and that ego is definitely one heck of a demon, is it not, Gemma? I mean, we all are faced with that particular demon. That's a popular demon, an ego demon. You know, but you know what? We created that demon when we were hurt. You know, we sustained a massive trauma as a species, and ego was born to make us survive, to keep us alive. But it's no longer needed. You know, it's done its job well, and we have to gently thank it and gently kind of start helping it wrap itself up, like it's time for you to go, or at least, you know, hide somewhere, leave me alone kind of thing. Because ego is very destructive. Ego has actually destroyed a lot in the world, you know, and it has destroyed families, it has destroyed individuals, it has destroyed nations, for crying out loud. You know, I think Christianity is full of ego. The Christians crusade, they wanted to force their God upon everybody. God forbid anybody would, you know, want a different God, you know, or pray the way they wanted to pray, or worship the way that they wanted to. No, it had to be the Christian way or the highway. And we're still seeing that today, right? I mean, many of us have awakened to the truth and, you know, have pulled away from traditional Christianity. I mean, I personally was raised Jehovah's Witness. But those that try to push away are being bullied by Christians, the ones that claim to follow Christ and love the God of, and they do, they love the God of this world. They don't understand that that's not the real creator. That's just a facsimile. That's just, you know, a copycat. And that copycat is an angry God, and that's why those that follow that angry God exhibit angry behavior. Let's see here. Trying to get this thing. Oops. What's it doing? Okay. Let's try to see what I've done here. Oh, this is strange. Okay. Layer 2.5 view. There we go. So Gemma says, higher self, personal representative in the Father and God through the Christ Spirit. Yes, very good explanation. Very good way of seeing that, Gemma. It is our personal representation representative. That it's like our lifeline directly to the absolute father, mother. I don't like to just give the divine a male gender role, because everything that we see on this planet, and even probably in other planets, require a male and a female energy to bring forth life. So I think we have given the male patriarchic, misogynistic way of looking at God way too much attention already. It's time to allow mother to step in, take her throne next to father, and realize that it's mother, father. And I will always put her first because, you know, Jim, I don't know if you have kids or, you know, ever, you know, experienced that, but when you have kids and you're the mother, you kind of, mothers think the kids belong more to them than they do their dads, because, hey, you carry that child 9 months in your womb, and you know that son or daughter really well, more so than dad might know them, you know, because you are the one that breastfed that child, spend the 9 months carrying around that child, loving it. While dad went to work, you were the one that stayed home, and things of that nature. So I think it's very important to give mother her glory. You know, we have just pushed her aside. So I'm always going to say mother, father, and the spirit and the consciousness of the Christed, or the anointed one. There have been many anointed ones in this world that have come to try to free us, to wake us up, to try to shake us up and tell us, hey, you're following the devil. These people have lied to you. Wake up. That kingdom of heaven is within you, and you will do greater things than I. You know, so yes, you know, I like to really point all that out, and that, to me, that's very important. And Scott says, yes, naked, don't like clothing, but wearing layers here in Missouri these days. I know it's winter, it's cold, and, you know, and got a nice little fireplace over there going, but, you know, we're going to be going out for our pancakes this morning. So I've got my, what you call it underneath, a polo shirt, and then I got this other thing. Then I have I'll wear a coat, obviously, but as I'm sitting here with all this clothes, and it kind of like, just, I don't know, it doesn't feel comfy to me, but, you know, it is what it is. Let's see. Scott says, was a single father to 5, played both roles. Divine feminism, very difficult for males sometimes. Yeah, can you elaborate on that? It's difficult for males sometimes. Is it difficult for you to play the role of divine feminine, or is it difficult for you to accept that there's a divine feminine? You know, because I know that there are men, and not saying that all men are alike in that way, but a lot of men don't realize the important role that women play on this planet. You know, first of all, they raise their kids, man's kids, you know, and while men go out to work, which, hey, it's important, you know, and we live in this world, unfortunately, that the slaves have to work really hard to put food and keep shelter and all that stuff. But women have a tremendous role to play. They're raising these kids. And now women also go out to work. So not only do they go out to work, but they're raising kids. And, you know, it's not easy. It's not easy to be a woman. You know, it's not easy at all. And that's why I get all upset, you know, when these trans women think that they could just, you know, identify as such just because they feel like it. It's, you know, like I said, I'm not against anybody expressing, dressing, you know, being them, whatever them is, but we cannot say we are the gender that we weren't born as, because that's, to me, is utmost disrespect. I have tremendous respect for the divine feminine, for what women do, you know, for the role they play on this planet. And Scott says, think about physical bond for women, nursing, care, and child. Yes, yes, that is, I mean, it doesn't matter how much a man tries to bond with her child, that child is always going to have favor for the mother, because that was the first eye contact they made. We'd hope, you know, this day and age, the hospitals, the way they do things, they really mess all that up. But it's a beautiful thing. And if a child doesn't have that connection with his mother, the child will never be a whole person. They'll be missing something, you know. And it's important. And like, I think it's very important also for the child to have the father figure in their life. It's a balance, you know, it's a balance. And that same balance is the balance that we're trying to create here on earth with our bodies and our spirit, the yin and the yang, the male and the female. We need this balance with how we believe and how we manifest and how we connect to our higher divine source. We need to respect both the male and the female side of divinity. And Gemma says, Christ is whole male, female spirit. Christ is not Jesus. Yes, I have a daughter. She belongs to the all, not me, to the spirit. Yes, I understand your point there. I mean, no kid belongs to any parent and per se. But I hope that you understand what I was trying to say, that we have ditched, we have removed the goddess from the picture. And I don't even think that we belong to the spirit. Just like you don't think your child belongs to you, I think that we are part of the spirit, of the great source of all, the energy divine, the I am, you know, that we cannot for 1 minute think we can label it and name it, because to me that would be disrespectful. But this divinity, this absolute mother, father, we are part of them. You know, they're not as jealous, as possessive as the little God that created this world. When you have to look at God and give God those kind of jealous, possessive, belonging to characteristics, you know you're not talking about the divine. You know that you're talking about a fast meal. You know that you're talking about the little g of this world and its minions, you know. Scott says, yes, need both, as do we, all spiritually. Totally. And I don't know if I believe much so that Christ was actually a man or a figure. I think there have been many Christs. I think there have been many enlightened beings that have come to this realm to free us from the enslavement that has been created by the little g's and his dominions and all these false deities. And I like to call them false because they're not the true creator. They're the creator of this messed up world, that they're creator of our physical body. They're the creator of our brain, you know, their reptilian brain. But, you know, we're all in different places in how we think and feel. And I welcome your thought, Gemma. And I'm glad that you're doing well with your detoxification and your road to physical, emotional, and spiritual health. Because we need body, mind, and spirit to be utmost optimally working. Hey, Matthew. Thank you for joining me. You know, it's a rough road. It's a rough road to really get those three in tune, in balance. And I think that's why we're here. You know, I think that's why we came down here, because there was something that we still needed to learn, you know, and we fragmented. And this is my thought, actually. I believe that father, mother, you know, there was a fragmentation that took place, and we are the fragments. It came down, you know, to know who we are, meaning everything, the divine us, everything put together. So this mission down here on planet Blue was a mission of knowledge, a mission of wisdom, a mission of growth, a mission of compassion, to be able to understand the workings of everything as a spirit, as gosh, sometimes I can't even find words because there's no words to try to explain this whole thing. You know, have you guys found yourself doing that sometimes when you're trying to explain to someone your awakening, your aha moments, and sometimes you feel like you're sounding like a crazy maniac when you're talking to people because they look at you like, what are you talking about? Scott says, yes, exactly. We'll be calling in to chat some morning. It's all learning. Awesome, Scott. So tomorrow when I do this, I'll have my phone because right now it's charging. But so you could call in, and I would love to have you share with me and with all that are viewing and will be viewing the videos. And Matthew says, hello, Gemma. Hope all is well with you and everyone in here. Yes, thank you, Matthew. Thank you so much. Lots of love for you. Hope you're having a wonderful Sunday morning. I love Sundays. Sundays are pancake days for Lida and I. We go to this little cafe called Adobe Cafe. And very beautiful people. Beautiful meaning. When I use the word beautiful, I don't use the word beautiful as in aesthetically pleasing. I use the word beautiful as in beautiful spirit, you know, beautiful light. It's a couple who owns it, and she's just an amazing bundle of light, you know, not fully awakened, but very potentially capable of. We kind of try to plant little seeds when we go, and she's always our waitress. Even though she's the owner, we prefer her. She knows what we like and what we don't like, and we're creatures of habit that way. But Sunday morning's always wonderful because whole wheat pancakes, and we order sweet potato fries and our coffee and, you know, our wheat toast, and she brings us some peanut butter that we slab on our toast, you know, and it's just, I love breaking bread with my beautiful Lina, and, you know, sharing that moment together. I've taught her a lot about eating and eating healthy, and it brings me joy to see her enjoy healthy foods. When Lynn and I first met in a hospital ward in an ICU, Lynna's eating habits weren't the greatest, and I knew that I had my work cut out for me. But today, 4 years later, we're looking at a very advanced individual that has learned so much about food versus the way it came to me. So food is very healing, you know, and I'm like I said, Gemma, I'm very excited for you. Hopefully that it won't take you as long to be able to detox from the years of putting things in your body that your body wasn't really liking. You know, the parasites in your body were loving it, you know, because we develop parasites that love junk food, that love all the wrong things, and that's what feeds them, you know. So when you change things around, you kind of get rid of those bad parasites, and then your body produces healthy bacteria that craves the healthy foods. So that's how that goes. Let's see. Gemma say yes. Oh, Phoenix joins us. Hello, Phoenix. Phoenix says, if you have time, go study the knowledge of the eight. It is the higher than your God and your science. I don't know, you keep telling me my God and my science. I don't really have, you know, and I don't know if you're like totally like referring to Lina and I, or you're just like speaking as in a whole for those that are viewing. The voice of the universe, the morning star that they call Lucifer, Satan. Have fun, much love. We read some of the stuff that you sent us yesterday. We get sent so much stuff, Phoenix. You just don't realize how many people send us so many things. Sometimes we can't get to it all. You know, we try to pick and choose what we feel we're going to resonate with. We appreciate everyone for sending what they do send, but sometimes we, you know, it's between doing 5 shows, reading all the emails that get sent, reading the comments, and trying to watch videos that people try to share with us. It gets a bit overwhelming at times. And frankly, I like to go within for a lot of the knowledge, and not to say that I know it all. It's great to hear other things that spark a remembrance of things within. But yeah, I don't believe in the way people believe, like the church and stuff like that. I think you know that about us, Phoenix. And science, to me, science is just another religion. The medical system is just as corrupted as the financial system, as the religious systems. All the systems on this planet are pretty corrupt. And Gemma says, yes, I understand. I am to love her and understand her sovereignty in the all. I'm speaking of the divine freedom. Yes, those words I could resonate. Divine freedom. Matthew says, they all are me crazy in this little town. Well, they all think you're crazy in your little town. They all know who I was and who I am now. It's a shell of my former self. Love many cakes. Come some funfetti cakes here for the daughter. Okay. And Scott says, even source has a source. Even source has a source. That sounds good. Even source has a source. I'm just saying that the great I am, the master of all, the divine, the absolute, the mother, father, has a mother, father too. Is that what you're trying to point out, Scott? And Matthew says, they all are me as crazy when I am. They all are me as crazy where I am. They all see me as crazy. There you go. Now I can understand that. Okay. Yeah, I hear you. When you start singing different tunes and what the status quo is used to, they totally make you feel like you're crazy, or they see us as crazy. But they're the crazy ones, not us. Let's see here. I've been known as crazy since I was a child. My kids say I'm just a big kid. It's wonderful to have that childhood essence and be light and be love and not live life in the way they've taught us how to live life in this programmable, institutionalized reality, that breeds what we're seeing today. It's great to break free from all that and go deep within that light, love, childlike essence that we all possess, that we all have. When we're in that place, everything's wonderful. When we rejoice back in time and remember the times where we played and there was not a care in the world. We didn't care about anything, except having fun and enjoying the company of our friends and know that mom and dad took care of us. And although many of us grew up in dysfunctional homes and it wasn't a very safe home, there was still some sort of beautiful essence to those times, And let's see, Phoenix, the God, not your God. Sorry. Okay. Thank you, Phoenix. Because I ever since I was a kid, I used to always talk to my higher self. And it was innate. No one had to teach me how to pray. No one had to teach me. I had a conversation, and it was like when you're young, little, you have this innocence about you, and you have this knowing, this really deep knowing that kind of goes away from us as we get older and we get corrupted by the world. I used to have tremendous conversations with my higher self, and it felt right. It wasn't a pleading. It wasn't this, you got me peon, that wasn't the relationship that I had. It was like knowing that I was part of him and her, and she and he was part of me, because that's the relationship that I feel that we all should learn how to have with the divine. It's none of this, do as I say or you shall be damned in hell. That's if you're dealing with that, you're dealing with a wrong goddess. You're dealing with the wrong. Yeah, you need to like really do some searching there, because that's not how it's meant to be. Let's see here. Yes, thank you. Living love. I am well, as I hope you all. Says Gemma. Oh, let's see. Matthew says phone is all messy lately. Sorry, getting all glitchy. Have to watch later, fam. Sorry, Matthew. Sorry about that. But thank you for joining us the time that you did. And Gemma says, yes, I'm committed to healthier living for the restraint and discipline needed. Yeah, and you know what, Gemma? It's going to get easier for you. I promise you it's going to get easier, because once things become a habit, and once you start feeling good and you start seeing changes, why would you want to go back to your old way? The way that made you sick, the way that made you not feel good, the way that put on that excess pounds of toxins in your body that's bringing you down, that's making you sick. When you start feeling good and you start looking good and you start like really jiving with that newfound energy, there's no need to ever go back. I mean, and I know people do, because we're creatures of habits. Sometimes we like feeling bad. It's, and it's not like we like feeling bad, but it's just like, It's something familiar, but feeling good is awesome. And when you start feeling good for quite a while and you start really understanding what that is, you don't want to go back to the other. Scott says, a bear raised in a cage won't recognize when the door's been left open. We guide with love. Totally. Totally. An animal that's been in cage for a long time and you try to free it, it doesn't know what to do with itself. You know, it really doesn't. It's one of those things where creatures of habits, right? We're in a relationship that may be dysfunctional, and that's all you know. And you stay in that dysfunctional relationship because that's all you know. You figure that's love, especially those of us that were raised in that dysfunctional atmosphere. We figure that dysfunction is love. Being screamed at means they love me, they care for me, right? But it doesn't have to be that way. But it starts by realizing who you are. It starts by realizing, you know, what you're all about, where and who you came from, right? So if you don't know who your true creator is and you've been following a false creator, and you've been told from the time you're little that your heart is wicked, that you can't trust your heart, that everything that you do is, you know, not good for you, you know, that's, you know, that kind of brings your spirit down. You know, you've got to really get to know who you are truly. What makes you tick? What makes you happy? What makes you sad? Who are you? Not what do you do for a living or what you like to see in the mirror, but who are you really? And once you start knowing Mother, Father, once you start connecting to your divinity, to the divine, to the Christed consciousness, then things start to unfold and everything starts to fall into place. And you realize that we're here for a healing. We're here as a rescue mission. We're here to take all those fragments and put them together so that we can return back home and be with Mother, Father. And is it going to be easy? Not for many of us, and it's not. You know, some of us have done this rodeo many times before, and we came back because we wanted to assist. But for many, they're going to be fighting a lot of old habits, old paradigms, old programmings. But the good news is that you will achieve it, and you will be grateful for it, and you will be better off for it. And then you will too be a light for others that are having the same problems that you were having. And Scott said, exactly, once you see the world as a swamp, why climb back in, right? I mean, it makes no sense. You know, when you found the truth and you're clean and healthy, why would you want to go back to lies and get all dirty and toxic, you know, full of toxins again? Scott says, we're so powerful. People don't realize the power they possess. Caged bears. Yeah, but we've been made to believe that we are weak, that we're wicked. We have no knowledge of anything, that if we engage in our abilities, we are engaging in black magic and we're being part of the devil and all that stuff. That's what religions tell people. That's what Christianity is known for. But, you know, what would Christianity be if people didn't follow their dogma? They would fall apart. There wouldn't be Christianity anymore. People would be free to think for themselves, free to love instead of hate and judge. You know, gosh, wouldn't that be great? Most of them just love their master. And their master is one heck of a slave driver, isn't he? He twists your world around. He twists your heart around. He makes you hate one another. He makes you hate yourself. That's not the kind of God I ever want to worship. I don't know about you, but that's not for me. So Scott says, or Gemma says, thanks for the support, Mark. I have been dropping weight like crazy. That's awesome. I'm working past the plateau after the initial 120 pounds came off, but I'm happier with each thing I laid down on my own accord. Yeah, and what happens sometimes, Gemma, and I don't know how you're eating, you know, and what is your routine. The body becomes used to what you're doing, so you need to constantly be tricking it. Okay, I would always tell my my clients, you know, at first you're going to drop a lot of weight, and then the body's going to plateau because it kind of learns what you're doing, and it just starts to hold on for dear life because it doesn't know you're trying to lose weight. It's thinking you're starving it, and it's going to die, right? So you don't want to ever make your body believe that you're starving it because starvation is not good. You want to give your body a lot of food, but healthy foods that are the calories that they have are good for you, right? And feed every cell in your body. You want to also do a lot of movement, a lot of walking, even when you're sitting. That's why I like to rock in the rocking chair because it's constant motion. Even when you're sitting, stand up, stretch, move. You know, work on your breathing so you improve your metabolism because your metabolism needs to heal. And when people diet, their metabolism shuts down completely. So I don't ever push diets. I push a new way of eating. Feed yourself plenty of food, but food that have all the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients that you need, preferably plant-based. Because high fats, which are in saturated foods and meats and dairy and milk and all that stuff, a gram of fat is equivalent to 9 calories. And they're not good calories. You want good, healthy calories inside of you. So it's learning, you know, what your body is doing with what you're taking, keeping a journal, and make sure you get plenty of activity and drink plenty of water because metabolism requires water for your metabolism to kick in. And Scott says, your belief is key to everything. You can only do if you truly believe. That's true. That's how you heal. It's not the pill you're taking. The pill is a placebo. You heal yourself by how you think. And AK's join us. Hey, AK, love and light to all divine sparks. Thank you for joining us, AK. Jim Asher says, I'm wondering about the meteorites you mentioned. Each of these events leave a window of opportunity for growth. A love pour in as well. Yes. And I think they're not really meteor. I think myself personally, I think it's something man-made. They're trying to freak us out as they usually do. Or they're trying to test something because I think they have a massive plan ahead. Some production going on. You know, it could either be that or we've got Planet X nearby that's releasing things as it's coming in our atmosphere. So what it is exactly, I'm not sure. I'm not quite focusing too much on that. So I'm not really getting any downloads. I haven't really requested to know that information because to me it's trivial. You know, things are taking place that need to take place for our awakening, and that's all that really matters to me. Scott, guard all your portals, mouth, eyes, and ears. Yes, and mainly guard your heart, because that's like, you know, that's the main portal of all. You know, you have that strong sense of protection in that area. It kind of like protects everything else, in my opinion. How long have I been going here? Let's see, 48 minutes ago. Okay. So yeah, the segments. Hey, Scott, thank you for joining us. False flag ops. Yes, that's what. Yes, I think that's part of that. False flag. Very possible. So the healing segment is now called Transition Radio's healing segment, MarkAngelo's. So I'm going to be touching base. I'm removing the trans corner from RealTalk with the Cummings and going to be adding it here in the morning segment, show, whatever we want to call it, healing segment. I'm also going to be taking calls in the morning for those that want to share their story, whether you've had a healing once you started awakening, or you're in the path of healing and want to share your story and really, you know, help others by sharing your story, because I think that we motivate other people when we share, you know, the things that are going on in our lives, and how we've helped ourselves by opening up and realizing the truth, you know, by really knowing who mother, father is, and where we fit in the scheme of things, and getting away from all this fear-based tactics that religion has pushed upon us, you know. But exciting times, nonetheless, lots of exciting times. And I'm also welcoming any detransitioners that want to call in, you know, and share your story on this Transition Radio Healing segment. How you are handling it, how you've been treated by the trans community, how you've been treated by the community, period. You know, I think gender is something so important in the essence of energy balance, balancing our male and our female side. And I think it's been taken out of proportion. It's been politicized. It's been financialized. It's been bastardized, you name it. So I think that everyone on this planet needs to learn how to balance their male and their female side. That's part of your awakening, because we have a father and a mother, you know, and we need to take house in both father and mother, emulate both those energies and make it into one. And that's when we're going to learn to be a happy, healthy spirit, in my opinion. And Scott says, yes, I will be calling, much to share. I didn't realize I'd done so much till I completely woke. Yeah, and it's funny, right? It's like when we're going through the aware stage and then to the awakening stage, and we start, like, our eyes start to open up, and you start looking back like, whoa, I've come a long way. I've done a lot here, you know? It's exciting, right? And it's exciting to share and have others here, because, like I said, one hand washes the other, and we all need to help one another and encourage one another to move forward. And it's a lonely world, especially for those of us that are awake, because there's still so many dead asleep people that look at us like we're from another planet. They look at us like we're crazy, we're weird, strange. And I'm used to that, because that's the kind of look I've gotten since I was a little kid, because I was always very different. So much so I called myself a Martian for years, because I'm like, I'm not from this planet. I don't relate to these humans. But luckily, there's many out there from my tribe that feel the same way, and we're all waking up and realizing who we are, and we're becoming bolder and stronger and empowered in love and in light and in peace, and praising Mother, Father, you know, and becoming more like our divine parents. Scott says, hi, Jim. I'm proud and happy for your lifestyle change is really what it's all about. Isn't it great, Scott, to see a fellow human being become enlightened, you know, and wanting to heal herself, you know, because living in that sick world for so long, God, that really puts a toll on you. So, yeah, very proud of you, Gemma. You know, hope you're taking pictures so that people could see that transition. See, that's what that transition word is. It's a word that fits everyone, because we're all transitioning. We're going from Homo sapien to Homo luminous, light beings. Scott says, I did things in my younger years without knowing, just because I cared and loved. We all have made so many mistakes, Scott. Gosh. But you know what? Mistakes are good. That's how we grow. That's how we get to be where we are today. You know, it's a beautiful thing, mistakes. Pain is another beautiful thing. I know many of us don't like pain, but pain teaches us so much. It empowers us. It helps us grow. It helps us realize we're alive and well, you know? It helps us realize that there's work to be done. You know, and that's what it's all about. Helping and connecting with one another, healing one another. It's an amazing life. I am forever grateful to be living in this day and age. I am forever grateful to have had the journey that I've had. I am forever grateful to have you guys in my life. to share and speak and love on one another and share. Sharing is so beautiful. You know, when we share, we don't feel so alone. When we share, we feel that we're making connections with our tribe. And that's, gosh, that's such an amazing thing. Well, guys, I'm gonna call it quits for this morning. I'm hungry, and you know, yesterday we went to Sweet Tomatoes in Tucson, and we ate a lot. You know, a lot of the healthy things. Although at the end we had some of that ice cream and muffins. We never eat sugared stuff, so we go down there. I guess it's a 3-hour drive. We probably go every couple of months, so it's like the little splurge, you know, every now and then to then re-cleanse again. And the body gets really good at cleansing when you've taught it how to cleanse. So every now and then you want to treat yourself with something, although it wasn't so terrible. I mean, I never say that people just go out and go crazy, but once in a blue moon, you know, a little something just to kind of shock your body, you know, because the body gets used to the healthy eating. And then every now and then you've got to like throw in a wrench so that it goes, oh, wait, yeah, you know, kind of freak it out a little bit. But yeah, so when you eat more than usual, the next day you tend to get even hungrier. So I'm hungry today. Well, I was hungry yesterday. I'm hungry every day, but we only eat one meal a day. So by the time it's meal time, I've worked up a nice appetite and really enjoy it fully, totally. So let's see. Scott Severini says, pain is good. Can teach yourself to control it. Thank you for you. Well, thank you, Scott, for sharing. I look forward to you calling in maybe tomorrow. You know, maybe you could call in tomorrow when I do this. Probably would be doing this tomorrow, like around 9:30 or 9 o'clock, something like that. I'm not quite sure. I'll see when the morning segment is, depending on the time. Because I'm still going to my shoulder therapy on Tuesdays and Thursdays, so it'll be after the air. But if you catch me, you know, then I encourage you to call in and share. And Gemma says, Scott, I believe the part of us that remembered kept appointments, not being aware of it or why. Then we realize it while we awaken to our true selves. And it's such an amazing thing to awaken to the reality, to the truth, you know. Hey, Cindy, yeah, I'm getting ready to sign off, but, you know, it's on demand. So, and I'll hopefully be doing this every morning to share, you know, many things and to hear what you all have to say and share your healing moments. Scott says, true, Gemma, feel I'm definitely here for a reason. Had no real reason to wake up, just did. Yeah, and it's like when it happens, right, Scott? It's like, boom, something triggered it. You know, it's like when you dream at night and you forget, but you're in the course of your day, something happens that makes you remember your dream, and you go, whoa, wait a minute, and then you just start playing that film in your head. Gemma says, picture of everything but myself. Never thought about sharing that. Thanks for the perception. Maybe I should. Yeah. Yes. Taking picture of your progress is good, because then with that, you're going to really, you know, motivate other people. I used to always, when I had my business Bodies Under Construction, day one with my client, I would take a before picture. They hated to take a before picture. They hated it. You know, but it's like, you're going to love it 3 months from now, 4 months from now, when you see the dramatic change, you're going to have something to look at and compare and, you know, share it with others, because then you're going to motivate others, because that's what we need to do, is motivate one another. Scott, the number, I'll mention the number. Let me see here. Hold on 1 second. Tell you what number I'm going to be using for this. 1 second, Scott. Just, number here. The number to call in. Here, Why not? And I only use this number for my live feed, so that's the number right there, Scott. Because I don't want to have people. I got a lot of trolls and haters, and last thing I need is to try to deal with, that kind of stuff. But yeah. So and every morning I'll go ahead and I'll put the number there so that when people are in the chat room and want to call in, they can call in and ask questions or share their story. All right, guys, I love you so very much. I so look forward to spending time with you, sharing, revealing, listening or reading and listening when you guys call in. It's what we need. Hey, April. Hey, all my relations, please consider doing one act of kindness for someone else and make the world a better place. We often get far too wrapped up in our own selves. Peace. And that is very true. That is very true. People do get very wrapped into their own creation, and it's important that you do an act of kindness and act of kindness for spirits, the spirits that live within these bodies, so that we could wake up and finally, head back home with Mother, Father, and make a difference. Make every day count. Make every day a beautiful day, so that we can make heaven here on earth. Because right now, this is the hell that they talk about in Christian circles. I think you're going to go elsewhere, but they don't realize that this is the actual hell that we've created, but we could turn it around. I truly believe we can. All right, guys, love you, but remember to always love yourselves too. Make it a good one. Bye-bye.